Okay, today we have a couple things to do on my daughter's 2014, I believe it is, Hyundai Accent lower ball joint. Dealership quoted, I can't remember what it was, for lower ball joints, spark plugs, and intake cleaning. This is a direct injection engine, so the intake has to be cleaned every once in a while to clean off the back of the valves. I think they quoted like $900, which was, I thought, ridiculous, but it's not that tough. You will, however, either need to heavy press a bearing press or ball joint press, or hydraulic press like this, like a shop press. I keep this in the shed because I use it like 4 times a year. And or easy enough, pull the lower control arm out and take it somewhere and have the old ball joint pressed out and the new one pressed in. Hammer is not going to work on this. The other thing you could do is buy the entire lower control arm with the ball joint in it. I guess you could do that. A little more expensive. The ball joints, I think they're about $20 a piece. So quite a savings over the 100 and something for the whole lower control arm. Anyway, I'm going to get set up. I've got the wheel off. Jack is still under it. Tire that I've removed is under it, and it is on a jack stand. So also put the key in the ignition to unlock the wheel, and then turn the key all the way off, and then you can move the wheel back and forth because the steering won't lock until you pull the key out. So it just helps you be able to maneuver the wheel back and forth instead of having to get out and put the key in every time. Anyway, back in a second once we get ready to go. Okay, first thing, you want to get the lower control arm front bolt and the rear bolt, which is a 19mm nut on top of there. Lube those up, and also lube your lower ball joint upper bolt. And that's how easy the wheels are to turn with the sorry, can you see that in there? So that's the nut for the lower ball joint. I gotta get you guys down so you can see this. So this is a 19mm. You're just going to simply take the bolt all the way off. You don't want to leave this one on. Some of them you do leave on. This one, we're going to take it all the way off, and you don't want to watch me do that for 3 or 4 minutes because it's going to take 3 or 4 minutes to unwind it all. Back in a sec. Okay, so just finally taking off this bolt the last of the way. Pardon me if I hit the camera because you're kind of in the way. And you do have to use a wrench for this. You can't use a socket because there is no room to get a socket underneath the drive shaft. I've already apologized. I'm sorry. So I'm going to take that the rest of the way off. I just wanted you to be able to see what was exactly going on. And the camera's in my way. Okay, so there's the bolt off, or not off. It's a 19mm. If I didn't say so before, I'm pretty sure I did. Now we have to take this front bolt off for the lower control arm, and that's a 17. And I'm going to cheat because I'm going to use power. Let's get you out of the way. Can you see the bolt? Where the hell is it? There it is. There's no nut on the other end of this one. It'll just come straight out. wiggling. Can you see that right there? There we go. So let's see, 17. And we're going to go do the back one now. And this is a 19 top and bottom. Where is my 19 wrench? I just had it. And I need a 19 socket because, again, I'm going to cheat and use power. Loosen this nut up first. I just need another wrench to double the torque. I don't want to round off that bolt. You should always tighten and loosen from the nut side, but there's no way to get under there with a socket or anything. I'm gonna move you back a little bit. Can you see from there? I hope you can. So I'm simply going to double up this wrench to double the torque. And wow, that's on there. God, I'm probably putting 200 pound-feet of torque on that right now. There we go. Loosen it the tiniest little bit more so that once I get the impact on the bottom, it's actually going to come out. Okay, so I'll leave the 19 on top. Risk stripping that bolt, so I'm going to get it a 6-sided 19. This is chromed, not impact, so safety glasses required. Funny thing is that impact sockets are actually softer than regular sockets. They are not as hard. Most people think they're harder. They are actually softer, so they can absorb the impact. back over to our ball joint. Now we've got the front and rear lower control arm out. We just have to bang on this knuckle with a hammer. Right there. You're hitting right here on the knuckle. Hopefully you can see that. And you gotta whack it hard. Little hammer, no good. So that's come out. Straighten the wheel. Oh, I hope that rear, oh, maybe that rear bushing is gone. Take a look at the bushing where it's moving within the arm. Ooh, that might not be good. I'll take a look at that and get it out. Do I have a screwdriver? It is a little separated there. Huh. Let me check. I have to check a parts store. The other side was really good. This one is not. Back in 1 second. Okay, so I had to go get a new lower control arm because, again, this bushing is gone. And if I grab it, you can see where it's torn. Right there, it's coming out. So this ball joint is no big deal. But I'm going to show you how to take it out anyway, because that's what the video is about. So I don't have to do this, but this is how you do it. So you see there's a C-clip here, a spring clip. See the two eyes of it. See the two eyes of the spring clip. Wow, that's a really wide apart spring clip. You know what, since this one doesn't matter, I'm just going to pop this out with a screwdriver, which you can do, because this is probably going to be in there good. Gotta loosen it first. There we go. I can probably get it out with spring clip pliers. Wow, that is a really wide spring clip. It doesn't even look like it was clipped properly from the factory. Because usually these two ends with the holes in them are much closer together. And these pliers are almost at their limit. I'm trying to take this one off. So I'm gonna have to, God, I'm gonna have to pry this one up. Not that it matters, but you should be able to take it off with. The old ball joint doesn't matter. And this old spring clip, your new ball joint will come with a new spring clip. So this isn't exactly a worry. Huh. But yeah, the new one is go get my big spring clip pliers if the other side is, or if the brand, well, no, I'm not putting the brand new one on, but yeah, usually spring clips go much closer together. Anyway, I'm going to set this up on my press, and because the spring clip's on this side, that means it pushes down, and this is going to be much easier to push out if I take a grinder and I chop, just cut off the top of the ball joint. Now the dealership diagnosed this and said the clunking was coming from the ball joint. Dealership diagnosis, this ball joint's fine. This is the one that they said was bad. They did not say the driver's side, they said passenger side. Lower ball joint gone. This one is not really gone. It was the control arm bushing. But anyway, let's chop this sucker off. I think I need a new disc. Hold on. Spring clip pliers are also really good for changing grinder discs. Come on, lock. Yes, it's unplugged. See? I'm not that crazy. Now the reason we're doing that is we can push, down on this whole ball joint instead of just pushing. Otherwise you'd just be pushing on the center, which is gonna, the shaft is gonna wobble around. So let's get set up and push this out. Okay, got the bearing, the control arm in the press. Just gonna line this up on the ball joint. I'm using an old brake rotor. It's got a round hole in the middle that the ball joint can push out through. Actually, it might be. Yeah. Should be a big bang when it comes out. Like that. And you can see it's pushed out mostly there. Let's go outside and grab a hammer and tap that the rest of the way out. You can see it popped out there. Well, it's kind of sideways, but now it can be hammered. Okay, so then you clean up this hole because you don't want to make it too have it too sticky. And then you put the new bearing in from the, in from the bottom. And bearing, did I say bearing? No, the new ball joint. Where'd the old one go? Okay, so this is the new ball joint, which I'm now not going to be using because the control arm came with one. That's just a protective cover. Yeah, see that spring clip? See how tight the ends are together? That's the way most of them are. So this will just press in from the bottom. And when you pressed it in from the bottom, you press on, get a pipe or something that is the diameter of that outer thick metal rim. You don't want to push on the middle, that'll wreck it. This is like a thin metal cap. So you'd want something that pushes on the outside of this. So a socket or whatever that would fit like that. And you'd press it back in and then put the spring clip on, bolt and ready to go. But we're going to put a control arm on, so we'll be back in a second. Now when you put the control arm back on, the part that matters is the rear. This has to go in first and get located first. And it's kind of a pain in the butt with the suspension lowered because it doesn't like to bend down that far. Let's see if we can push this in without an issue. I don't think we can. Maybe. No, so we're gonna have to stick the jack under the strut and brake and lift it up because it's just too low and it's in the way. You have to put this basically straight in, and it won't go in because it won't clear the rotor. So I'm going to set a jack up under the rotor and be back. Okay, so I got a jack under the rotor. I have the front wheels, the other side's on the ground, so this is not going to really spin. It spun a little bit as I jacked it up, but be careful, it could still spin. As long as you get that back bolt in, you're pretty much good to go. You can line everything else up. That's the first one. Put the bolt in and the nut on it so it doesn't move. Okay. And now we should have room, hopefully past this jack. Pull the ball joint protector off. We should be able to go under. Move you so you can see the front. If you can see back there. Let me get some light for you. Can you see back? Can you or can't you? Oh yeah, you can. The rear control arm. Now I've got my jack too far. Damn it. I can't move past my jack. The lower arm is hitting the jack. But you know what? If I pull the jack down, I should be able to. Once the back is in, I should be able to get this moving. Hopefully I can slide it in now. Whoa. You guys stay here while you're running away. Was it something I said? Okay. I'm gonna have to pry that up. From underneath. If I get this front ball joint in to the hole, then that will line everything up and help me push it in too. Move. Come on. Okay, ball joint popped in. Now we just have to wiggle that sucker back into place. Put that top nut for the ball joint on so that doesn't slip out of there again. Oh, come on. Okay, now it's just wrestling time. There we go. Almost in there. I believe that is lined up. Front bolt. If it's all lined up, that should go in. And it's not. There we go. Okay, and now I'm gonna, before I tighten the suspension bolts, A, I have to get the torque specs on them, and B, I want to jack this up probably about 3 inches. I want it to, the front bushing, I want to tighten that and the rear bushing at the level that the car is going to set at. Generally when the weight's on the car, with suspension bushings you always do that, or else you can tear one. If you tighten it at the most extreme down, which is what it is now, when it comes up it's going to be under a lot of tension, and then when you hit a bump it's going to go up and really possibly tear the rubber bushings. So I'm going to get the torque specs and jack this up again. Back in 1 sec. Okay, so we'll tighten the front one first, and that is 80 foot-pounds. And just for a recap, I do have the jack under the suspension. I've lifted it up about 3 inches. Sorry, it's a long bolt. $80. Okay. Now the back one, you're supposed to torque the nut, but there is no way for me to be able to get under there to torque the nut. Hope you can see that. Let's lower you down a little bit. So that should be around 120. Where is my... That's not a 19. That's a 19. So I'm going to set my impact on I think that's about 150. And since I'm bolting it from the bottom, the torque on the top will be a little bit lower. So hopefully that is in and around 120 foot-pounds. Yeah, it should be. And the final one, which does not need to be, you don't have to have the jack on it for this one, but it's on there, so we're leaving it there. Or no, we're not. We're gonna have to turn it so you can see it. It's the front lower ball joint nut. See the weight come off the suspension? This one should be about 45 to 50 foot-pounds. And it is, was it 17 or 19? Anybody remember? Now again, I can't get a torque wrench in there. So I'm just gonna have to wing it, about 50 foot-pounds. So if you're lifting a big bag of dog food with one hand, that's how much torque to apply to it. Okay, big bag of dog food is, I think, a little bit more than that. About that. Okay, wheel back on and we are good to go. Sorry about the kerfuffle with the lower control arm. That was not expected. So I now have an extra ball joint. And that's great because this control arm's guaranteed for life. But Anyway, that's it. I can't think of anything else we're missing. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, please like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, whatever you want. Thanks for watching.